Have you ever been told that walking is the golden ticket to a long, vibrant life? Picture this: a crisp morning, the sun just peeking over the horizon, your shoes crunching against a gravel path as you stride toward what you believe is the secret to hitting 90 in great health. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? The simplicity of putting one foot in front of the other, feeling the breeze against your skin, trusting that each step is paving the way to a future of vitality. But what if I told you that this beloved ritual, while wonderful, might not be the full answer you've been led to believe? What if relying too heavily on walking could leave you short of the strength, balance, and resilience you'll need to thrive in your later years? Don't get me wrong. Walking is a gift. It gets your heart pumping, clears your mind, and keeps you moving. But as the years stack up, it's not the complete solution, especially when your body starts whispering or sometimes shouting for more. There are other paths, richer and more dynamic, that can carry you further. Activities that build not just endurance, but independence, not just mobility, but unshakable strength. In this journey we're about to take together, I'll unveil 5 powerful practices that outshine walking alone, helping you stay active, injury-free, and truly alive for decades to come. By the time we're done, you might find yourself rethinking what it means to age well. And trust me, these revelations could add not just years to your life, but joy, confidence, and purpose to those years. So settle in, because we're diving deep into secrets that could transform how you move through the world. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'm committed to bringing you insights that help you live better, longer, and fuller. Ready? Let's step into it. Number 1. Strength training keeps you independent. Meet Clara. At 68, she's the kind of woman who lights up a room. Silver hair, pulled into a loose bun, a laugh that echoes, and a stubborn streak that's kept her fiercely independent. For years, she swore by her daily walks through the park, waving to neighbors, her little terrier Max trotting at her heels. She thought that was enough. But one winter, she slipped on a patch of ice, and though she didn't fall, the wobble in her legs shook her confidence. Carrying groceries started to feel like a chore. Rising from her favorite armchair became a negotiation with her knees. Clara realized something unsettling. Walking, her trusted companion, wasn't building the muscle she needed to keep living life on her terms. Here's the truth many of us miss. Walking is a gentle friend, but it's not a muscle sculptor. It won't fortify your upper body to lift a suitcase, strengthen your core to twist without pain, or shore up the leg muscles that fade silently with age. Without that strength, everyday tasks, standing up from a low couch, hauling a bag of potting soil, even stepping out of the tub, turn into quiet battles. Studies paint a stark picture. After 65, muscle mass can slip away at a rate of 1 to 2% per year if you don't fight for it. But Clara discovered a weapon: strength training. Not the grunting, sweat-drenched gym kind, but simple, elegant moves with resistance bands she keeps by her kitchen table, or light dumbbells she lifts while watching the evening news. Twice a week, she does squats that mimic sitting and standing, presses that echo, lifting her grandson into a hug. The results? At 70, Clara's balance is steadier, her joints feel supported, and she's back to gardening without a second thought. Research backs her up. Older adults who strength train just twice weekly slash their risk of fractures by reinforcing bones, sharpen their focus with better blood flow to the brain, and cut fall risks by building stability. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. Start with a soup can if that's what you've got. Consistency is the magic. Each lift whispers to your body, "I'm not done yet," and your muscles listen, growing resilient, keeping you agile. Imagine bending to tie your shoes at 85. No hesitation, no strain. That's the gift of strength training. It's not about walking less, it's about moving better, living fuller. Clara's proof. Independence isn't a gift of youth, it's a choice you make, one rep at a time. Number 2, balanced training prevents life-changing falls. Now picture James, 72, a retired carpenter with hands that still bear the calluses of decades shaping wood. He's tall, wiry, with a quiet pride in the home he built himself. Every beam, every nail, a testament to his skill. Walking was his rhythm too. A mile each morning along the river near his house, the water glinting like a mirror under the dawn. But last spring, reaching for a high shelf to grab a jar of screws, he teetered. His foot caught the edge of a rug, and down he went. Not a dramatic crash, but a slow crumple that left his hip bruised and his spirit rattled. For weeks, he moved cautiously, second-guessing every step. The man who once climbed ladders without a thought, now afraid of his own kitchen. Falls are the shadow lurking as we age, not just a stumble, but a thief of freedom. Walking keeps you moving forward, but it doesn't train the tiny, unsung muscles that hold you steady when life throws a curve, a slick sidewalk, a sudden turn, a grandchild darting underfoot. One misstep can fracture more than bone. It can break your confidence, your routine, your independence. For James, that fall was a wake-up call. He didn't need more miles. He needed balance. So, he started small, standing on one leg while brushing his teeth, feeling the wobble at first, then the strength creeping in. He tried heel-to-toe walking down his hallway like a tightrope artist in slow motion, chuckling at himself but noticing the difference. Soon he added Tai Chi, drawn by the flowing motions he'd seen in a park group, each step deliberate, each breath an anchor. Within months, James stood taller, his reflexes sharper, that carpenter's steadiness returning. Science agrees. Older adults practicing balance exercises 3 times a week halve their fall risk, their bodies learning to catch themselves before gravity wins. You don't need fancy gear. Just a corner of your living room, a few minutes daily. Close your eyes and balance on one foot. Feel your muscles wake up, or stretch on a yoga mat, letting your body find its center. For James, it's more than safety. It's reclaiming the courage to reach high, to trust his footing. Every steady step is a victory, a promise that freedom doesn't fade with age. It's fought for, balanced on, and won. Number 3, strength training builds the resilience you need. Let's meet Priya, 66, a retired nurse whose warm smile and quick wit once calmed countless patients. She's petite, with a cascade of graying curls and a love for her sprawling vegetable garden. tomatoes ripening red, beans climbing trellises she built herself. Walking was her sanctuary, a loop around her quiet neighborhood at dusk, the sky streaked with pink and gold. She thought it kept her strong. But last summer, hefting a watering can felt heavier than it should. Climbing the stairs to her bedroom left her winded, and her posture, once straight from years in scrubs, began to slump. Priya realized walking wasn't enough to hold back the slow creep of muscle loss that sneaks up with age, threatening the life she'd worked so hard to enjoy. Muscle isn't just about looking fit, it's the scaffolding of independence. Without it, the world shrinks. Stairs become mountains. Grocery bags burdens. Even standing up from a picnic blanket, a struggle. After 60, muscle mass can vanish at an alarming pace, up to 3% a year if you let it, dragging energy and confidence down with it. But Priya fought back. She started with chair squats in her kitchen, lowering herself as if sitting, then rising with a quiet determination. She added wall push-ups against her garden shed, feeling her arms firm up, and lifted light dumbbells she'd bought on a whim years ago. Nothing extreme, just steady, deliberate moves a few times a week, woven into her routine, like tending her plants. The change was electric. Within weeks, Priya carried her harvest baskets without strain, her steps up the stairs light again. Studies echo her triumph. Strength training boosts metabolism, preserves bone density, even sharpens mental clarity by flooding the brain with oxygen-rich blood. Grip strength, she learned, is a hidden longevity marker. Those who can squeeze a dynamometer hard tend to outlive the frail. For Priya, it's personal. Every curl of a weight is a promise to keep planting, keep climbing, keep living. She's not just stronger, she's younger in spirit. Her resilience, a quiet rebellion against time. Strength training isn't about vanity, it's about holding on to the things you love. The freedom to move through life unbowed. Number 4. Balance and flexibility keep you moving safely. Now imagine Luis, 70, a former dance instructor, whose feet once glided across polished floors, leading partners in salsa and tango with a grin that lit up the room. His dark eyes still sparkle, but his silver hair and slower gait hint at years catching up. Walking kept him active. A brisk stroll through the city park, past kids on scooters and dogs chasing frisbees, but it didn't stop the stiffness creeping into his joints. One evening, stepping off a curb, he faltered, his ankle twisting just enough to send a jolt of fear through him. He caught himself, but the near miss lingered. Luis, who'd once spun with abandon, felt his world narrowing, his confidence fraying as balance and flexibility slipped away. Aging doesn't just tire you out, it tightens you up. Muscles shorten, joints stiffen, and balance wavers, turning simple moves into risks. Falls aren't the only enemy. The fear of falling traps people, making them move less, which only hastens decline. Luis refused to surrender. He started stretching each morning, reaching for his toes, rolling his shoulders, rediscovering the fluidity he'd known on the dance floor. He practiced standing on one leg by his sink, eyes closed, feeling his body adjust, steady, strengthen. Yoga came next, a class at the community center where he flowed through poses. breathing deep, his limbs loosening with every session. The payoff was freedom. Luis walks taller now, his stride sure, no hesitation at curbs or uneven paths. Flexibility eases his back, balance steadies his steps, and he's even danced again, a slow sway with his granddaughter at her birthday, laughter bubbling up. Research confirms it. Balance drills cut fall risks by nearly 50%, while stretching wards off injury, making every motion smoother, safer. You don't need a studio. Stretch on your rug, balance while the kettle boils. For Luis, it's reclaiming his rhythm, proving that grace doesn't fade, it evolves. Confidence in movement is confidence in life, and that's a melody worth dancing to. Number 5, mental and social activity. Keep you sharp and engaged. Finally, there's Aisha, 73, a librarian turned storyteller with a voice that could hush a room and eyes that gleam with curiosity. Her home overflows with books, spines cracked, pages dog-eared, and her walks through the botanical gardens, past roses and lilacs, were her daily ritual. But after her husband passed, she retreated. The walks continued, but the silence grew heavy, her world shrinking to her own thoughts. She noticed her memory slipping, misplaced keys, forgotten names, and a fog settling over the sharpness she'd always prized. Walking kept her body moving, but her mind and heart were starving. Longevity isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, social. A brain unchallenged dulls. A life unconnected fades. Loneliness, studies warn, rivals smoking as a health risk, while cognitive decline accelerates without stimulation. Aisha chose to fight. She joined a book club, her voice trembling at first as she shared stories, then growing bold. She tackled crosswords, relishing the click of a solved clue, and called old friends, their laughter a lifeline across miles. She even learned to knit, her fingers fumbling, then finding rhythm, crafting scarves for her nieces. Each act was a spark, neural pathways firing, spirits lifting. Now, Aisha's home hums again, friends over for tea, her mind buzzing with ideas. Research backs her revival. Mental activity builds cognitive reserve, staving off decline. Social bonds lower stress, boost immunity, even add years. It's not about constant chatter, just meaningful connection. A puzzle solved, a story shared. For Aisha, it's purpose reborn. Every conversation, every stitch a thread, tying her to life. A sharp mind and full heart don't just extend your years, they make them worth living. Final thoughts, crafting a life that lasts. So, here we are, at the end of this journey. If you've been sold the idea that walking alone is your path to a long, healthy life, I hope these stories, Clara's strength, James's steadiness, Priya's resilience, Luis's grace, Aisha's spark, have opened your eyes. Walking is a start, a beautiful one, but it's not the whole map. Strength training builds your foundation, balance keeps you upright, flexibility frees your stride, and mental social engagement lights your spirit. Together, they don't just stretch your lifespan, they expand your life's richness, filling it with independence, confidence, joy. Think of it like a garden. Walking waters the soil, but these habits plant the seeds, tend the roots, and coax the blooms. If you see these in your life, congratulations, you're already growing strong. If not, start small. Lift a can, balance on one foot, stretch toward the sky, call a friend. One step today ripples into years of vitality tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Your presence here means you're ready to live better, longer. Drop a comment below. What struck you most? How will you weave it into your days? Your voice fuels this community, so share it. Like, subscribe, spread the word. Let's keep inspiring each other. Until next time, here's to thriving, not just surviving.